Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope you are doing well. I wanted to say thank you. I got a very sweet email from one of you this week, and it definitely made my day. So, thank you so much for your email. And the email, it was talking about um, how they were surprised that there were not very many men in singing. And let me just make sure that I am really clear is that I'm talking about classical singing now in musical theater as well, but there seems to be for classical and musical theater and like more legit types that there are less men. So there's always this kind of running joke that whenever there's an audition for something like an opera or something, that it's going to be like thousands of sopranos, a little less mezzos, and then even fewer men. And so I always used to tell my male singers who were taking lessons that if you want to meet women, this is the way to do that because there's so many of us that are there, and it's just either gay men, which I love gay men, or women, and there's just not very many straight men. So, but I very much appreciate your email that you sent. It definitely made my day. It's surprising because I am not used to talking about that subject on this, but I just now that I'm not really doing the school, I mean, I'm doing the school, I'm the only employee or the only person at the school now that I feel like I maybe a little more free to say what I want, even though I was saying what I wanted before, but now I really can say what I want. Um, so yeah, I thought this was a really important aspect of how it is to be a musician and a music teacher. It is definitely, and I think it makes things a little bit harder. Just things that maybe people take it for granted, such as being in relationships, even friendships. It just makes it tough because we work such odd hours sometimes. Um, so today I wanted to talk about some insights that I've had since you guys know I'm so interested in therapy. I've talked a lot about, how music and the mind are just so there's such a correlation. They're just so close. And so I've been doing a lot of therapy at this point and different kinds. And I just and not just therapy, but also my training for yoga and Pilates and just all of the different things where you kind of learn about yourself and you learn about how you tick, what makes you tick, and just like what you're capable of. And, I mean, it's the same thing with singing, really. And the more and more I do this, the more and more I realize nobody knows what the heck they're talking about. I don't know if you're one of those people, but I am like consuming all the books that I can read. I listen to so many podcasts. I'm on YouTube watching so many experts. And I'm thinking to myself, a lot of what I hear is this certainty that they just know, that they're just experts. And I think the more that you know, the less you know. The more that you learn about something, the less you know, because it opens up your world. Like there are more questions, right? So I think it's always a good thing when you find more questions and answers in anything that you do. It shows that you're on the right path, that you're starting to really focus in on like what it is that whatever you're interested in. And so it just bothers me now. I still watch some of these channels and I'm listening to the podcast and I'm still reading stuff, but I'm much more skeptical now because I'm like, you sound really certain of yourself that your way is the only way. And they don't always say that they think that their way is the only way, but the way that they come across, the certainty, it feels like you're dumb if you don't do it. And I just think there are multiple ways to do stuff. There are multiple ways to discover who we are. There are multiple ways to even, I mean, I'm a voice teacher, multiple ways to be a singer. That it's the way that I think about either being a singer or a teacher doesn't mean that my way is the one true way. So I also have to pick a point of view because we have to have a point of view. There's so many of us who like to sit on the line and never have a point of view, never, but we have to decide, we have to take a side. We have to take a side, but it's not because it's the right side, but it's because it's what feels right to us, to our nervous system, to our very being. It lines up with our values, but that doesn't mean that it's true. So all of these people who have, credentials, doctors and all that stuff, do not know everything, and they don't know me, and they don't know you. We are all different. We all need different things. And to have a blanket statement, this is wrong or this is right, is not correct. And that's why, if you were to ask me, I would tell you, and I didn't say this for a long time, and I didn't want to believe this. In fact, I wanted to believe the exact opposite. But I am not an ethical person. I'm just not. I am not an ethical person. My ethics, my values are my own. I am skeptical of some blanket statement for everyone. Now, I get the gist because it's very time consuming. It would make the law very, I mean, if we're talking about law, it would make it very tough to defend if there's not any like broad stroke um, laws in place. But I still believe that ethics should be a personal thing and not because someone has told you so. I think that since COVID, so many people tell us, so many different types of corporations, government, people are telling us what we have to do. And if they're not saying it, it's in their behavior. I feel like I'm constantly, as a woman in the South, being told what I need to do, that it is black and white. If I do this, then I am not, you know, I'm not doing it right. And I just think we do not sit in the shades of gray. We are a black and white, black and white, black and white. And it's even in psychology, it's just like, if you think this way, then you are and I just don't agree with that. So no, I am not an ethical person. I don't buy into ethics that I agree with. And I don't follow them if I don't want to, because if I of course I've said this in the past, I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt someone. I want to do something that's in line with my values, and I have to be able to defend my values. But I don't necessarily believe what I am being told by everyone. And I think that I have felt for so long that that has been my role, that I am supposed to just buy into it, to all of it. Just buy into all of it. And I think this is a positive move and a positive direction, because it's like not everything you're telling me sits well with me. Not everything that you tell me sits well with me. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that it's not maybe right for me and I have to think about it some more. But I'm not going to decide that I am wrong all the time because I don't do the way that you want me to do it. And I think that there's so many systems in place, even with yoga. It feels like if you are not doing yoga the way that the yogis want you to do yoga, that you're not doing yoga. And I do not think that one system, one way has all the answers. I mean, we can talk about religion. It's the same thing that in terms of religion, I am not an ethical person because I believe that I would classify myself a Christian person, but I also believe in spiritual things as well. Like I believe in the astrology a bit, although since all of my stuff has been less, I have been less spiritual than I have been, but I feel like that's starting to come back a little bit more. I just think that not one way is right for me, and maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot. I don't know. I just have to go with what feels right, because what else do we have to lean on? Like, of course I'm going to take it all in. If you're telling me something, I have no reason not to believe you that what you're telling me unless I have a reason not to believe you, right? So I'm not going to sit there and say, no, wrong, you're a liar. But am I going to automatically sit there and go, everything you say is exactly right? I'm going to believe everything that you say, tell me, right? Without discernment, without like thinking about this, is this really right or not for me? And I just think that YouTube, a lot of YouTube psychologists, they are banking on people buying into everything that we are supposed to fall in line with everything. If you don't agree with everything I say, then are you really a fan? Are you really, are you listening? And so I guess it's something I should tell myself too. So I've had students who have been skeptical of what I've done. And I know that that feels icky sometimes because it's like, why are you here? You're not believing, I want to help you. And I think that's it. These people who talk about this, I think they genuinely want to help people. And so it probably feels threatening a little bit to if people are not buying into to stuff. And I definitely think that sometimes people do not listen just because of who you are, because of our like what I mean, I feel like a lot of the time I was not listened to, and I think it's maybe because of the way that I communicate. And I I don't know. I don't know. All I can think is maybe is like because I was like I'm emotional, I am sensitive. I mean, all those things. Maybe that's why people didn't always listen to me, and that they always like there was a lot of pushback. I don't know. I don't know, but I know that the way, though, to bridge the gap, the way to kind of get closer to people on the issues, that doesn't mean that if you don't agree with something, like if I don't agree with a YouTuber, that I'm going to go on their page and like completely demolish them. That I'm going to do the retaliation thing that we've talked about in the past. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go on a public space and like rip someone apart. I'm just not going to do that. I don't think it's effective. I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's helpful for me to do that in the first place. I don't think it's going to make me feel better. I think it's going to just open up more contentiousness and more divide. So, but I think the way to come together is to have, again, to stay curious, to ask more questions, to not just like let this thing die, like to not just accept, well, I believe this, they're saying this, so they think I'm wrong, they don't think I'm good. And then, so it's just like this unspoken divide that never gets close, they never come back together. That and again, some people, this is their big YouTube channels, they don't know I'm alive, but I guess I'm talking about more of my side of things. It's like, am I supposed to like not listen to them anymore? Am I supposed to not to watch their stuff anymore because I don't buy into some of the stuff they say? No, I think it, again, curiosity, asking more questions, getting more information, not letting it just go, but really exploring it a little bit. And I think that a lot of people don't want to do that. So I think that I have gone between two different things. Either I just jump. I mean, I have always loved psychology. So when I meet therapists, I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're awesome. Like there's just like their profession is so noble and they help so many people and like blah, 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 blah. And like, I just think about that a lot. But they also are human. They can make mistakes. And I don't necessarily have to believe everything that I am being told. And and it's the same thing with music. Yesterday I was at a North Carolina Symphony workshop. So I was there all day and we were learning. Our fourth graders go to the concert and they learn about all the different songs. And so we teach the songs to them so that they will go and know what to expect. And and all these great teachers teaching in different ways, utilizing, movement, which, I'm an elementary music teacher. I love anything with movement. And I was just thinking to myself, If I was a young new teacher, would I be thinking, this is the only way to teach these things? This is the only way. I've got to write down all the notes and do it exactly the way they just did it. Because if I don't do that, and they're not going to learn it. I think that that is a very easy trap to fall into. I think that we just look to someone who has had a lot of experience and we go, okay, we'll just do that. And I think that like there is a happy medium in there. Yes, we want to listen to the people who have had lots of experience in that. We don't want to not listen. We want to take in that feedback, but then we get to listen to ourselves, our inner voice as to whether or not does this align with, I mean, is this where I want to spend my time? Is this going to be the most effective for my students? Is this going to be something for me that's going to get me pumped up so that I can help them get pumped up for these songs? And I just thought that was interesting, the how we as a society present information to each other. That and it's such a and then it makes me think about how politicians and leaders of communities and different aspects, how we rarely apologize to each other. We rarely have apologies that we're taught that it looks weak, that it's admitting that we made a mistake, that it shows weakness. And I just think to myself, again, so you're coming across as like this certainty, like that you just like you got it all like under control. You know exactly what you're doing and you make no mistakes. That just makes you look inhuman and it makes you look like you are just certain about things that you can't be certain about. I think that one way that we can start to kind of come together is apologies, like saying when we mess up. And I mean, I think it's hard. I think it's really hard. It's vulnerable and it's admitting that we messed up. And it's taking accountability and trying to go forward. And I think we've talked about how to make an apology in the past. There's so many components of making an apology, and so few people do it. I would say in my life, had very little repair from some people in my life. Now there are some that are great, but a lot of them, I just noticed it's very hard to apologize. I know in my family that that's something that it is unheard of almost. It's just like we let time pass and then nothing happens. You know, something happened, like a rupture happened, and then nothing, and then time passes, you might not speak, and then it's like nothing happened. So nothing actually gets fixed. It's just the same stuff over and over again. I just think those little things that which is not a little thing, apology is a big thing, can help with this idea of like coming across as so certain of just like everything that your way is the right way and everybody better get on board. It really bothers me when I see on like Instagram or something and they have these one-liners and they just like say and they like roll their eyes. I just want to shake them because it's like how easy for you to just say this one liner like you just know everything. Like, why are you doing this? I'm trying to give like a good example. What is something that I hear always? There's like certain things that I hear all the time. I mean, certain things about like attachment I hear, and it's just like, duh. What's something like being having anxious attachment that you go for like avoidance because blah 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 because what is it they always say, because it's familiar, because we would rather have something familiar than to have something secure. I think that's a load of shit. I think that it might be true sometimes, but I don't think that is all the time. So stop rolling your eyes when you say it like everybody should just know this. This is a information that we should just know. That it's just duh. the more that I learn, the less I know. And the less I'm certain about anything, anything. The only thing I'm certain about is that my feelings come and go, that I can more often than not, and now more and more as I get older, can start to feel in my body if something feels right or not. Uh, and yeah, I don't think we have any other certainty than that. Even the things that are like, what is it? Death and taxes are the only things we like. Even then, there's a lot of uncertainty about that. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of a sobering lesson for me, to be honest. It's probably my least favorite lesson that I've had in the past while. It's just not a fun lesson because it's like, all right, if you don't have certainty, if you don't have like the answers to go on, what do you have to go on? And it makes me think about my voice technique, the way that I have learned how to sing and the way that I teach is that when you get to a certain point, you can't feel it when it's correct and you can't hear it when it's correct. It's you have to rely on the technique itself. And you're at different times your body feels different. At different times the technique might feel like you're doing it and then you're not actually doing it. You could be stressed, you could be I mean, there's just so many different things. So it's just kind of being that, what is that duck and riding on the waves and just like there are going to be times where it's going to work out and then times where it's not going to work out. Lately it's been not work out more than anything else, but just riding those waves, right, being that surfer. And I just think there's just not that certainty. And so that's another thing with astrology. I don't like that they sound like they're certain about things with astrology, human design. Like things can change. And it is not, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone. We are not destined for something or the other. Like, I still think, though, which is kind of contradicting, is that we are still deserving of things, though. Is that that might be contradicting? But just because we deserve something doesn't mean we're going to get it. Doesn't mean that it's going to work out. But I do think that we deserve, and anybody who works at something deserves to have whatever it is, deserves that certainty. But it's just life is gonna life. It's just not it's gonna life is gonna do what it's gonna do. And but yeah, I just don't like it when people try and tell me something like it's something that we should all know, that it should be like common knowledge, but then that they're certain that this whatever this thing is applies to everyone. That everybody, I am not an ethical person. I don't go by blanket ethics or laws, or I go by my own personal. I do. And I've talked about her in the past. Go check her out if you haven't seen, but while I don't agree with everything she says, let me just say that Shallon Lester, what I like is that she does what she thinks is right. And I think that right there, when she does things because she wants to help people the way she does, I think that makes her good. I think that we all have good and bad in us, but I think that ultimately, when we are trying to do good, when we are trying to do stuff to help people, right there, that makes us good. The trying, the genuinely wanting to help other people, that is what makes us good. I mean, I finished a book, and that's what yoga is all about. That, or that's what I read in the Yoga Sutras book, is that we are here to help other people. I mean, and I believe it because that's how we are in community with each other when we're helping. But here's the kicker on this, though. I don't have to help you the way that you expect me to help you. You don't have to help me the way that I expect you to help me. And that's where we have a rub. That's where there might be some issues because we are all expecting people to do the things that we want them to do. And if they're not doing that, then they're not good. Then they're, I mean, then we cut them out. The more that I learn about singing, about myself, about yoga, Pilates, the less I know. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try to help, but the less I know, and I'm admitting that, there are more questions than answers. And yoga says, or at least in the Yoga Sutras book, what I got from it was said that the answer comes from within. The answer is from the self, like from within. So the answer isn't always there yet. And I know that that's my journey, that I have to like stay on that journey. But I just think this idea of telling people information and posing it as certain is not helpful. It's not, it's just not right. It's just not right. So that is my little food for thought. If you are interested in taking voice lessons, I still have some slots for the fall. I start back at the school next week. I've been in the school. I did like I said, a workshop, and I've been in my room. It's gonna be an interesting year. So ready to get back on a schedule. But please reach out. Hello at raleigh schoolmusic.com. All right. Thanks. Bye.